And 3, 2. Alrighty, welcome everybody to the bridge. My name is Man of Toast. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe if you want continued content. Hello and welcome to everybody on Twitch. Today we don't have any Q posts yet, but there's something I want to bring up. So much attention gets brought up in the US with all the politics and all the things that are going on over there, that it kind of takes up a lot of the coverage that goes on in our own homes or in our own backyards. Like, for example, here I am in Canada, good old Canada, and we still got some DS players in high places on our side, unfortunately, or as it seems so far. But people are starting to get pissed off here as well, or so it seems to me. I'll put it this way. George Carlin said a while ago that he didn't vote because no matter what, you're gonna get fucked. People like to use the excuse, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. But voting, at least in Canada at the moment, I'm not seeing I haven't heard of any up and coming people that are trying to make the big change yet. There is resistance against Justin Trudeau for sure, but we don't have a Trump yet. We don't have a Q. Well, Q is for the world, but we don't have a face to set on fire yet, essentially. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on since he started up, since Trudeau started up. So here's just some stuff, right? Let's see, where should I start this? Okay, first of all, so let's back up a little bit. Let's go to his free speech. I'm gonna bring up a point from Brian Lilly, I believe it is. I think is how you pronounce his name, but that's his. I guess it's like a political news site. I don't know if it's news or just opinions, but there's the site. You can go on brianlilly.com. Free speech is under attack and Justin Trudeau is leading the charge. So basically he's going over how... Alright, so listen to this. According to new guidelines, offensive terms like mother, father, Mr., Mrs., and Miss are to be banished from use unless the person calling or standing before them at the counter asks to be addressed that way. Okay, let's just slow down here for a second. Offensive terms like mother and father. Offensive terms. Here's the number one enemy, or the number one asset of the DS is to to lie about things, but mostly to just alter truth ever so slightly. So there's still something you can grasp onto, but it becomes very misleading. So, for example, someone is calling the term or the title of mother an offensive thing to say to someone. I don't think there's a more honorable term that mother can take. Or I'm not sure if I presented that correctly, but like, to be a mother is to be honorable. That's why when there are bad mothers, it muddies the water a lot, because to be a mother is an honorable thing. I complimented my mom on that very thing a while ago, and it's true. So everyone has their own opinions, but why are we vilifying the words mother and father? Like, and it's one thing to have your opinion, right? That's cool. You can even be totally against using those, but to say you cannot use this, that's a direct violation of free speech. This is why I think I bring up a lot of points inside my novel whenever I bring out the full public version. But we'll get to that eventually. So there's that. We got this straight up attack on free speech. So let's talk, and this is going to be a controversial thing, right? Let's talk about actively promising or funding of $1 million to help reduce crime rates in the city. Okay. What does that mean exactly? What surefire measure are you going to take here? So they're going to use the Focus Toronto program. Focus Toronto works on intervention for people who believe to be high risk for committing crimes or becoming a victim of those crimes. Okay. I am a person who has been through systems like this before. It was bullshit then, and it sounds like it's gonna get to be more bullshit now. You're gonna start. Okay, so the major problem with the mental health system in Canada, in my opinion, is that so often we are we're shoving like rectangular blocks into circle holes, and it's like it doesn't fit. Like you can argue that analogy all you want, but the point I'm trying to make is they're trying to force people to be the way they're supposed to be by someone else's opinion, by a government official's opinion. Once again, that's a direct attack on freedom. It wasn't broadcasted, it wasn't talked about in hospitals and in mental health care systems, and I know I can talk about this because I've been through that shit. But you can't just start saying this is how you're supposed to be, and that's exactly what this sounds like it's going to start implementing, and that is fucked up. I am not for that at all, and if I can find ways to fight that, I fucking definitely will. And here's the thing, and this is part of why I brought this up in the first place, because so when he was going to be brought up and everything, right? When people were voting, I took the stance of I'm not going to vote, because no matter what, we're gonna get fucked here. We already went through the ringer with Stephen Harper. I'll have to look into more things on him, but the thing that I know about Stephen Harper is his ignorance, in my opinion, towards people of the military. I think he's kind of left a lot of us, and not myself totally, but a lot of veterans and soldiers coming home. He's let a lot of those people down for sure, And I don't know, with all this, it just seems like there's so much ignorance, I think, to freedom here, to straight up freedom. Like, you can't encroach on people's freedom like this, right? And so on that point, there is a sped up agenda, I feel, to enforce this shit, especially as all this Q stuff is coming up in the United States, because there's so much focus on that and not a lot of it on Canada. I don't hear a lot about this stuff in Canada, and I live here. I'm kind of a central party, you know, or a part of the general central area. But so here's another thing. So on that point, Trudeau is being accused, the Tories accused, first of all, Trudeau of bribing the media with tax breaks. Like, the numbers I'm getting a lot of is the Trudeau government announces $6 million media bailout. So he just funded He just funded the media $500 million, over $500 million to enforce this. And you could say they're going to use it for good things. There will be good things that come of it, but I think the cons are going to outweigh the pros heavily, because now that we have these new amendments on free speech that for some reason just went through. Like, okay, I'm gonna leave in the description below the link to a video that Michelle Rampell posted. That woman can speak fire, right? She spits fire, and she is on point on all of her reasoning, so far as I can tell. She does a really good job of laying shit out, but I'll leave that below. And what she talks about is just hand in hand with all this stuff, trying to enforce. How do I say this? Trying to enforce ordered speech, like speech that is as the elite want it. And you know what? As I'm saying this, I almost feel like the free speech in Canada is gonna be like the oil prices in France. Isn't that something to think about? I'm not trying to instigate anything, and I would advocate for these sort of protests more than the other ones, but I don't know. I think I hope I'm not the only one that's starting to get fucking tired of this shit. Like, they're just blatantly saying, yeah, you can't say this, you can't say that. That's the start of something fucking terrible. But a light is on the horizon. I think we're gonna do just fine. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to see some more, thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna fade to black. I don't really have an effect here, so we're just gonna kind of keep rolling until it fades out itself. But thank you guys on Twitch. Thank you guys on Facebook. All of you are awesome.